Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. I'm Kevin Freeman. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we're in the middle of homecoming week here at UNCP, and so we thought we would invite Mike Severy, who's the Director of Student Involvement and Leadership, to join us and talk a little bit about homecoming and the role that athletics and homecoming have with one another. So welcome to the program, Mike.
Thanks.
First, as I like to do with everybody who's been on here the first time, tell us a little bit about yourself and what ultimately brought you to UNCP.
Sure. Mike Severy, Director of Student Involvement and Leadership. I've been here, this is going into my 5th year, and I most recently came from the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. And the opportunity to kind of get re-engaged with leadership at UNCP and grow program was really what drew us this direction.
Okay, well, tell us some of your functions. What are the primary things that you do as the Director of Student Involvement and Leadership? So what are the things that you're in charge of?
Sure. There's 2 different sides of our house, the involvement side and then the leadership side. Involvement side, you'll see some of our major programs, Homecoming, like you mentioned, Distinguished Speaker Series, Parents Weekend, Family Day, those types of big overarching programs. And then on the leadership side, a variety of different programs, either trips to DC, our student organization pieces, our learning community, and a variety of different workshops and student organization support mechanisms.
Definitely a lot of things going on in your office for sure.
Yes.
Well, what sorts of challenges are there at this university in particular in regards to student involvement? Are you seeing a better response from our students as our school slowly but surely makes that transition from being a commuter school, as we were for a long time, to being more of a residential campus now?
I think so. One of the things that I see our students doing is, one, becoming more involved, but a lot of that revolves around creating community on campus for our students. And the athletic program and some of the things that we're doing in our office, we're trying to create that community type environment where students want to be engaged with campus. A lot of our students are from within about 2 hours of campus, so they have natural communities at home already that they return to, and that's tough to kind of push back against for our programming, because they're going to go home and re-engage in those communities. We need to honor that, but we also want them to kind of create the vibrancy on campus as well. And
it's a difficult job, I would think, particularly when it's been in the campus culture for so long.
Sure.
Well, this makes a nice segue to move into athletics, since the show focuses on that primarily. But what function, a couple of questions here, what function in your opinion does athletics serve for the campus community as a whole?
Right. I think athletics does a couple things for us. One, it helps build tradition. It helps build community, as I mentioned earlier, and excitement for campus, and it re-engages people in a spirited atmosphere to support the campus community.
And what kind of role, indirectly or directly, do you play in athletics on this campus?
Sure. Well, most of it's indirect, but it seems to be becoming more direct. I live a couple houses down from Ben Miller, the basketball coach, right across the street from Shane Richardson, our defensive coordinator, and so just kind of casually through seeing them on a regular basis, we've talked about how we can engage one another, and so we've grown a little bit in our role with men's basketball, we've grown a little bit in our role with the football team, and when people come to us and ask for support, we're more than willing to do it because they make our jobs easier if we can dovetail with things that are already happening.
Well, I go to a lot of athletic events, as you know, and I see you at a lot of them as well. First, I wanted to ask you what sport or what team is your favorite, and given that you live close to Ben Miller, are you going to say men's basketball, I suspect?
I do enjoy the men's basketball team. They're a good bunch of guys. I really enjoy the Miller family as well, and Ben Thompson, the assistant coach, has done a nice job outreaching to us and helping us support them as well.
And we'll have Coach Miller and Coach Haskins on the show next week, hopefully, to talk a little bit about the preview for the basketball season. Do you have to separate work from play to some degree when you're at these home events? Because I know you're there in a professional capacity to some degree, but you also want to root for the Braves at the same time. Is it hard to separate that sometimes?
It's not hard, but you're aware when you do it. There are times when you want to give the official your point of view, and you probably can't do that as an official of the university. But you definitely want to support the players and make sure that they're having a good experience.
Sure. Trust me, I have that same problem when I'm in the press box calling the football games.
I can imagine.
And I have the power of the microphone in front of me, so I really have to restrain myself to do that. All right, Mike, well, we're going to take our next break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Mike Severy a little bit about homecoming this week, so stay tuned.